Hey, it's Heidi Hope from New England Photo Collective and Photographer Rising. In today's lesson, we're going to be learning about stop motion animation. Stop motion animation is a technique in which you bring static objects or still objects to life on screen through taking a series of pictures.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, and show us your results in the comments below.
This lesson is a really fun one. We actually spent hours playing with this technique when we first learned it. You've probably seen stop motion animation before in famous movies like A Nightmare Before Christmas. You may have even seen some claymation type movies, which is similar to what you could do at home with this activity with some Play-Doh. You could also do Lego stop motion animation, cut pieces of paper, or moving toys and objects around the screen. To create stop motion animation, you're going to take some type of an object and you're going to move it little by little, taking a photo each time. When those are all stitched together through the app that we're going to use, it actually appears that the objects are moving. One term you need to understand for animation is frames per second. So a frame is the actual still photograph that is stitched together later to create the movie. A typical movie is 30 to 60 frames per second. That means for every second of footage, there are 30 individual pictures that, when stitched together, appear to be capturing movement. In stop motion animation, the recommended frames per second is 10, and you're going to be able to adjust this in the app. I'll show you how to do that. So you're going to move it to 10 frames per second, and that means for every second of footage, you have to take 10 photos. When those 10 photos are played together, it appears that your object is moving. So that means for 30 seconds of footage, if you have a frame rate of 10 frames per second, you're going to need 300 photos to make a 30-second movie. That's why this activity takes a little bit of extra time, but it's really fun. My kids had a blast making lots of different movies. Okay, let's talk about what you're going to need. The first thing you're going to need to do is download the app onto your device. So the app is called Stop Motion. It's a free app, or there's also a $5 upgrade version, so it's up to you. We just used the free version and it worked totally fine. The app itself is so easy to use. My kids figured it out in about 2 minutes. I didn't even give them instruction on how to use it. So it's really just like working a digital camera in there, and then it gets stitched together in the app. You're going to want to look for that frame rate per second setting in there, and you want to switch your frame rate per second to be 10 for a good looking final video. Another really important part of stop frame animation is keeping your cell phone or your iPod or your iPad. You can download the app onto any of those. You need to make sure to keep it steady. Now, Grace didn't really want to keep her phone steady, so her movie turned out really, really bumpy because she had her camera in her hands the whole time and she was kind of moving it around. Juliana used a tripod. We have tripods around our house because we're photographers, but if you don't have a tripod, you can make a tripod. So a tripod is just something that stabilizes your camera and keeps it in the same spot. If you don't have a regular tripod, you can tape your phone or your iPod or your iPad down to something stable. So it could be anything. You could tape it to a countertop or to a pile of books or to a toy or something like that, just to keep it in one place so that it's nice and steady when you go and hit the shutter release.
Once you're in the app, you'll see on the upper left-hand side, there's a little plus sign to create a new movie. Then once you're in your new movie, you'll see on the bottom left-hand corner, there's a little settings symbol. Click on that, and it's going to open up this little toolbar down here. On the left-hand side of that, there's a little timer symbol. This is where you change your frames per second. So a lower number, frames per second, is going to give you a slower movement. A higher number of frames per second is going to be a faster movement. You want to try to set yours for 10 to start. After that, you're just going to drag an object across this screen and take a picture each time you move it a little bit. So just practice with doing it a couple of times so that you can see how it works before you set up to do a really serious video. To see what your video looks like, you can hit the play button in the bottom right-hand corner.
If you liked today's lesson, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, click subscribe to the channel below so that you don't miss our next video, and share it with your friends.